Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Walking the Blunt Blade. I'm Oliver. I have some editing to do this morning, but I think it's important. It's important because I've lived it personally for a large part of my life, and it's important for those that don't know any better. This morning we're going to, as quickly as possible, discuss the great debate. Candace Owens versus Andrew Wilson. The only reason I know of Andrew Wilson is because I've seen him featured on the Piers Morgan show. And I've never thought of him as a great mind. No offense. I think he makes decent points from time to time. But I've never thought he really brings value into a conversation or into a debate. This whole debate, to my way of thinking, was won by Candace right from the beginning. Now here's the best part. Andrew Wilson, who proclaims to be a Christian, and again I think that's why it's important to mention this stuff, doesn't act very Christian, and I detest that. If you want to put a label on yourself, then you better have the goods. Don't say one thing and behave another way. Andrew Wilson offered Candace $300,000 to debate. Now, I've made some money in my life, but she has just made, I think the debate, I watched it all, but it, from memory, went for 3 hours. She made $100,000 an hour. Not bad. One, I didn't really think it was a debate. When you look at the debate title, Overwhelming Evidence, come on. And then I'm going to skip through a lot of this because I want to make this a short video, but just highlight some really simple, quick bits. You go and watch the debate yourself. It's fascinating from the point of view that Andrew demands 100% evidence from Candace, yet he has zero evidence himself. Like, the whole thing was just a waste of time. It fascinated me because I spend a lot of time in health, and I would have debates like this with directors or union officials, union delegates, and really any staff forum or even staff meetings they kind of saw as a green light to try and use as a verbal boxing match. And a lot of what they said was just nonsense and irrelevant. So that was my first problem with the debate. Andrew Wilson reads a statement that I personally felt, I thought, what is he reading? He sat there reading something that was totally irrelevant. And in my classic loving way, I would have said, irrelevant, shut up. But then, you know, I sometimes second guess myself and thought, maybe he's talking about things of which I don't understand. It was so lovely to hear. I think it was Baron Coleman saying, no, opening statement had absolutely nothing to do with the debate. Oh, love it. I learned this very early on in my career in health. I just give people enough rope to hang themselves, and when they start their debates, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, I wouldn't have called those debates either, they come out swinging, yeah? Insults, innuendos, the victim, all of that rubbish. Classically what Andrew did, he then went one further to call all women retarded. This is a guy that's highly uncomfortable. Watch his body language and facial expression.
When you tweeted Erica's too to kill her husband, would you like to explain how you developed your evidence, your positive evidence for the fact that Erica was?
Yeah, sure. So I just think all women are.
Oh, so you're allowed to just say stuff. Who knew?
Andrew Wilson was fascinating to watch because normally when you watch him on Piers Morgan, he's in a darkened out room, he's sipping coffee and smoking like a chimney. So it was fascinating to get to watch his entire body language. And he was like a fish out of water. His legs and feet kept flapping about. deal. And some people might say that's nicotine withdrawal. It's not. He was given lots of nicotine breaks. He would have done just as much flapping with cigarettes. And much like I found in my time in health, people waiting for a gotcha moment, that's what Andrew was doing. He was trying to bait Candace into probably getting herself into trouble legally. She was clever enough to avoid that. But here's the beautiful thing, and I'll show you. You can watch the body language. When she was finally allowed to ask him a question, I don't think it was a gotcha moment. I think she just stumbled into it and then realized, oh wow, he doesn't have a clue.
Yeah, but of the 7 charges that he's being charged.
Yeah, can we list them real quick? I'll tell you exactly which ones. We'll pull them up.
Well, do you know any of the charges that he's up for right now?
Yeah, of course. But I want to make sure that we have them listed.
Yeah, but like can you name one? Because my general perspective is that you don't actually care about this case. You're not following the case.
That's the question. You're just not following it enough.
It seems pretty, like, if you're going to engage and you're going to say the evidence is overwhelming that Tyler Robinson is guilty, I just think that you should, like, right. Can you tell me one
Then let's do the counter. You can really, this is a great gotcha.
No. You just got to ask me, play clips out of context, put me in the hot seat. So please just answer the question.
This is fair. Name all 7 since you've been following the case.
Okay, sure. You name one.
Yeah, you named all 7.
I'm happy to do that, but can you name one?
So anyone that was paying attention during the whole debate, like Andrew had nothing, yet insisted on the highest level of evidence from Candace. It was insane. But here's a man that didn't even know what charges were involved with the case. This is a man that believes there's overwhelming evidence, of which he has none, to put someone to death. Even I myself understand there's variance in murder charges. I get that. This is what I love about watching Baron Coleman, Candace Owens. Decent people that actually sit down and explain how different things work in different countries. I didn't know there was a different murder charge to put someone to death in America. You would think Andrew should know something like that. And then in his arrogance, he said, murder is what I said. That's not the same thing, buddy.
He's been charged with murder.
That's actually incorrect.
Okay, great. Now name all 7.
He doesn't even, this is like...
Name all 7.
And I
Can you name all 7?
I can.
Then do it.
Sure, you don't have to
do it. No, do it. I'll count them. Go ahead.
You don't have to put your fingers up.
Okay, hang on. Name them.
Yeah, sure.
Name them.
The first charge is aggravated murder, because that's what carries a death sentence in the state of Utah. No,
Next.
that's not. That is literally not murder.
Okay.
And
Next.
so just for people, I don't have to do it in a time limit. There's nothing going on. And just to explain to people the difference of why that really matters and shows that he doesn't actually care about this at all, is because aggravated murder, it's narrowly defined, and because it carries a death sentence. I'm going to answer the question.
Okay,
You're just going to recognize that your strategy of thinking that people are intimidated when you try to put a time constraint doesn't work, and you'll be better the next time you debate someone.
I got it. Give me the other ones.
The more you cut me off, the longer I'll take. Do you want to just wait for me to finish of why that's a big difference so that people don't walk away?
No, I just want you to list the charges.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. You just don't get to pretend that there's a time constraint for me to do that.
Well, how long does it take you to list 7 charges?
Because I'm speaking. You just got to...
It sounds like you're just delaying it because you don't know them.
I know all 7 of them.
Then
and I'm going to say
them
again, because you're going to get embarrassed. You don't have to rush this. I'm also showing an example of a very flawed debate strategy. I actually am under no time constraint.
I got one.
Great. The second charge is the felony discharge of a weapon. The next 2 charges are for obstruction of justice.
Okay.
The next 2 charges are for witness tampering. And
what's the specific charges, though?
That is them. Obstruction of justice, obstruction of justice, witness tampering. Okay,
and there's no other specifics to them.
Well, I can tell you why he's being charged with it.
Just the charges, and then 7?
Yeah, see, the bad thing is when you try to be an a-hole and it doesn't work.
What's the 7th?
The last charge is violence in front of a minor.
Okay, got it. So then he's being charged with murder. You just say aggravated murder. That's the distinction. You just want to...
It's a massive... It's like you cannot say murder versus aggravated murder.
Distinction.
This gets to the entire crux of why him being up for the death sentence.
Right, the emptiest cans make the most noise. Andrew had nothing, and this is the problem with most of humanity. This is what I found to be disgusting when my kids were just watching weird podcasters. It's irrelevant. Just because someone's loud doesn't make them intelligent. Just because someone tries to put a time limit on you doesn't make them correct and makes them look like fools. And I think that's what Candace was doing, much like I used to do, was just giving this guy enough rope. I think from his opening statement, she's a clever girl. She would have known there was nothing there.
Did notice something I just was curious about. If I'm just wondering, when you pulled out your phone just before you asked that question, did somebody by chance text you that question?
You can check my phone.
I'm just curious.
No, you can absolutely not. I have not had one communication with a single person, not even my producers who are in there this whole time we were here. You want to check my phone? I'm happy to do it because you're just going to get double embarrassed. Where's my phone?
Do you want to see it?
I'm just curious. Yeah.
You can literally do that. Here you go. PBD, you're the moderator.
Okay.
Take it.
Let's see
See
it.
if anyone was texted at all during this debate
All right.
about the violent charges or anything.
I'm looking through this. You give me permission.
You
I'm
have
looking
full
at, I'm not gonna
permission to
give
go
names.
through my phone. I don't need to
So
cheat.
the last one has nothing to do with it. It's just a compliment.
I haven't even read my text messages.
That's
so
a compliment.
He's reading them.
Because of all the trickery this day and age, we're asked not to believe our senses. Don't worry about what you saw in the ICE shooting. It was justified. Don't worry about what you see when cops are sitting on someone's back. That's justified. No, it's not. Don't worry about what you heard in the debate. There are some people so stupid. Not some people, I would argue a large majority of the planet, that will actually believe, as Andrew Wilson does himself, that he won the debate. Not even close. All right, everybody, that is it from me this morning. Be careful of whom you watch, pay attention to what people say and do, and have an awesome day. Cheers.